Hi, it's Mike DelSignore, Massachusetts OUI lawyer. Today's video I want to talk about what happens if you're arrested for OUI on Nantucket. Many people are from out of town and get arrested for OUI while vacationing with friends, family, things like that. OUI cases are easy. It's easy to get charged with OUI. It's difficult to prove the case beyond a reasonable doubt. So I want to go over some of the things you should know if you're arrested for OUI. First of all, if you're from out of state, you have an out of state license, it could still affect you in Massachusetts. So you face potentially a suspension, not only in Massachusetts, but in your home state. So don't think because it happened in Massachusetts, if you don't want to come back here, or if you're not from Massachusetts, that it won't impact you. It still would impact you in your home state. If you take a breath test and it's over 0.08, you're looking at a 30-day suspension. Make sure to fully reinstate your license after the 30 days. Many times these cases will take longer to get all the evidence, so you can be driving while the case is being fought in court. Even if you don't have a Massachusetts license, you want to reinstate your privilege to operate a vehicle in Massachusetts. If your license is if you refuse a breath test, your license will be suspended for 6 months for breath test refusal. After 6 months, you get your full license back. Typically, your case will probably be resolved by that date, but for some reason, the case is still pending, get your full license back. I've had a lot of success defending cases in Nantucket over the years. Field sobriety tests, things like the one-leg stand, walk and turn, these aren't really reliable indicators of impairment. There's a lot of reasons why maybe you couldn't stand on one leg for 30 seconds, and that has nothing to do with alcohol. Could be medical condition, could be that the officer didn't score the test right, could be the officer rushed through the instructions or distracted you while taking the test. So all these things I see routinely over the years that can show that you were not impaired by alcohol. That the one-leg stand, that either you did well on the test, the officer just didn't know how to score it or didn't give you credit for you did well, or the things the officer saw that the officer thought were signs of impairment were really related to other factors related to the conditions of how the tests were done or your physical condition. Things like medical records can be brought up to suggest that these tests were not reliable. You might have also been asked to do a 9-step walk and turn. Again, there's things on these tests that the officers omit from police reports. Everything you do well will not be in the report. So keep that in mind. When I go over the report with you, I'm going to give you a new perspective on how to read this report and what is likely to be the evidence at trial. So all the good stuff, everything that you did that's inconsistent with impairment, that won't make the police report. But I'll tell you that based on my experience cross-examining police officers, how they'll likely testify at trial and what we'll be able to argue to show that you weren't under the influence. So basically, what we try to do is show that you did many things right that are inconsistent with the officer's opinion that you were impaired. So I'll look at, I know the officer's training, I've gone to police trainings, advanced trainings on DUI detection. I'm a member of the National College of DUI Defense. So I know what they're taught at the police academy. And many times some of the signs that taught to look for are not noticed or they're not in the report. I'll bring that out during the trial cross-examination to show that you weren't impaired. Now, cases in Nantucket sometimes are handled a little bit differently. In most courts throughout Massachusetts, there won't be any ability to reduce or dismiss an OUI case and have a plea on a negligent operation charge. In my experience, I have been able to work out some very favorable resolutions on cases, even short of trial. Many cases will require a trial, and the standard of proof is very high. So it's one thing to get arrested, it's another thing to be convicted. The government's got to prove the case beyond a reasonable doubt. So if you're arrested for OUI in Nantucket, don't assume you can't win your case. Even if there's a breath test, it doesn't mean it's going to be admitted into evidence. There's a long way from the test coming in. They have to prove that the test was done properly, they followed the proper rules, regulations. So I routinely get breath tests knocked out of evidence, so don't assume you can't win a case if there's a breath test in the case. If it's not your first offense, there are ways where maybe if your prior offense is in Massachusetts from 2011, 2019, we might be able to get that reopen that case, and I can do that wherever it is in Massachusetts to knock the charge down to a first offense. So there's different things that defenses when someone has a prior offense. But if you're arrested for an OUI first offense in Nantucket, the case is going to be heard in Nantucket District Court. Feel free to call me. I'll give you the background of what is likely to happen, defenses to the case. I can help you handle cases on Nantucket all the time, very familiar with that court. It can help you make the best decisions for yourself on an OUI charge. If for some reason you think, if this wasn't a one-time incident, or if you think alcohol is a problem in your life, or if somebody you're helping find a lawyer has a problem with alcohol, I can help them. I have resources. It's never going to negatively impact the case. It's always a positive. I'll help them not only with the case, but if there's any issues that they need help with personally, I can give them that advice that I've developed over the years of dealing with these type of cases. And finally, if the person's under 21, there are different license suspensions, so make sure to call, text me so I can explain the under 21 penalties, as those can be quite complicated. My name is Mike DelSignore. My passion is helping people make the best decisions for themselves when charged with OUI. You can call, text anytime, 781-686-5924. I'm here to help you make the best decisions and avoid an OUI convictions when you're arrested in Nantucket.